I built a motorcycle. Big surprise, I know, right? I built another VT600. Been a while since I built one. Went out and found a pretty rad, really low miles VT600 dual carb. The reason I wanted to go with the dual carb is because the single carbs actually have less horsepower. So dual carb is race shit, friend. Really good condition bike. Brought it back to the shop, went through all the usual setup, fluids, coolant, oil, spark plugs, ignition. What I wanted to do is really build a bike with parts that I've designed and built over the years. So I used a lot of my own stuff on this bike. It was nice to be able to use my own parts. They work really well if I don't say so myself. Everything went together flawlessly. The bike ran so good. Took it out to the desert, ripped that thing around, and it handles well. It looks good. It feels good. But here's the cool part. I'm gonna be giving this bike away. And if you're watching this video years after it's been posted, I'm always giving something away. So make sure to click the link in the description to find out what I'm giving away now. Now let's head to the showroom where I'm gonna walk around every detail of the bike, including parts and costs, and show you how you can win this badass machine. Now I wanna give you snowflakes, a little trigger warning here. I'm an engineer and parts designer with a 4th grade education. Very, very prestigious. And I build bikes using a lot of parts that I make and sell. So some of this may sound like I'm making a commercial for my own shit, and that's because I fucking am. Duh. Shameless self-promotion? Yes. I believe that if you can't promote your own shit, why would you even do it? Let's get into the performance upgrades specifically. Now, I started all this with a carb rebuild and tune. I used the Brutal Customs Max Performance Kit, which includes the Performance Rebuild Kit, mixed screws, velocity stacks, and I chose the Magnus V upsweeps, which I modified with some dope /cut tips. Let's look at the body and frame now. I use the Brutal Customs Complete Monostrut Hardtail Kit, which includes the Monostrut E-Tank, and the coil mounts. The E-Tank is actually perfect because it lets me mount the regulator rectifier and the coils outside the tank using the pre-drilled holes. For the battery, I went with the anti-gravity AG801 bolt-on battery box and the Featherlight AG801 battery. I used the best ignition kit on the planet, the Brutal Customs Ignition Tune-Up Kit. That includes new plugs, new caps, and wires. And I trimmed any wiring that was unneeded and tucked everything into the E-Tank. Let's move on to parts and mods. Up front, I ran the Firestone Deluxe Champion Sawtooth Coker style 4x19 tire with a brand new tube installed with my own 2 hands, and I have the scars on my knees to prove it. I also put a new K673 Cruise tire and a fresh tube on the rear wheel. Now on the front forks, I dropped in the Brutal Customs 6-inch VT600 fork extensions, which really gave the bike a kickback chopper look. One thing that I actually machined by hand is the fork brace. This is a first version. It's beefy as hell, the way you like your men. Now I wanted to add something up front, and a beefy ass brace did the trick. And it kept the front stable in those turns. For the cockpit, I went with some 2-inch rise Brutal Customs black finned risers. And I used the +4 extended cables kit for the clutch and the throttle cable. Don't forget to lube those up. And I used the gorgeous, personal favorite, Brutal Tersus kit in brass, which includes the Malleus grips and the Aceris throttle assembly with a throttle lock. For the bars, I used the Biltwell Frisco bars. I removed all wiring from the bars and relocated the start switch to the E-Tank. I also wired in the kill switch, so I don't need a separate switch for that. I like my bikes to be real minimal. I used the brass spike stem nut because, fuck, it's pretty, man. I used the Brutal Customs Max Fuel Kit, which includes the Brutal Customs Peanut Tank, fuel line, and the Brutal Customs Petcock fuel filter, as well as some red coat. And I went for a brass gas cap option. I ditched the stock coolant overflow tank, which is a hideous abomination of plastic, and I used the Brutal Customs U-Core tank mounted on the left side of the down tube and did a complete coolant flush and refill with Coulinol. I pulled the oil filter, which actually happened to be the original Honda filter, and refilled the bike with Royal Purple full synthetic and popped on a new oil filter. I installed a new X-ring chain with clip master link because rivet links are an absolute bitch and O-rings are buttholes. Also pulled out all this crusty stock case hardware and replaced it using the Brutal Customs stainless case bolt kit. I think it looks amazing. I did actually do some minimal fabrication on this bike where I fabbed up a really basic solo seat support so I could actually run springs for the Brutal Customs Libertor seat and our seat hinge, and it gave me a place to mount the rear fender. Now, I decided to use the Mohawk fender for this build because I absolutely love the look of it, and it adds a little depth to the rear of the bike. I took a Brutal Customs straight up sissy bar and added some tabs for a tail light. I didn't really want to mount the license plate on the sissy bar this time, which I've done a lot, so I ran the Brutal Customs Tenet license plate mount without the light bracket on the side of the bike. That's the beauty of that thing. It's absolutely modular. For the foot pegs, I dropped in a sexy brass set of Brutal Customs Service Model 1 foot pegs. For the electrical and wiring. For the headlight, I ran a brass Brutal Customs headlight mount so I could wire up one of our headlights. I ditched the stock headlight and wired in the new one with bullet connectors. I also rewired the starter relay, and the battery wiring, the ground, all replaced with new wire and upgraded terminals and heat shrink on all the connections for an absolute bulletproof setup. I also wired in a beautiful prism taillight to mount on that straight up sissy bar. I opted for a custom patina on pipes, tank, and fender. Brutal Team and I took this thing out to desert and gave it a proper shakedown, an old private race. Normally I do this stuff myself. I thought it'd be pretty cool to take one of our own guys and have him ride the bike so it's not just me giving the feedback. Ricky rode the bike around the desert. Check it out. I know I promised I would tell you how you can enter to win this exact motorcycle. It's super freaking easy. You can visit the link in the description, put your email in, and booyah, you are entered to win. Easy peasy, make me queasy. Again, if you're watching this in the future, you time traveling lord of chaos, go ahead and click that link anyway and see what the hell kind of dope shit I'm giving away now. Keep it tight, aight? Peace.